brought to you by water.
Thanks for watching Ricer Rescue. My name is Huntington, and today Darian and I are going to go rip an engine out of an Rx8, and we're going to prepare to throw another one in. Now, due to a delay from a parts source, a parts supplier, we aren't going to be able to finish the whole job today. And you know what that is? That's a whole lot of bull crap. But we're going to go ahead, go down there, shoot some freaking footage, and then you can go check Instagram and Facebook and subscribe and like all of our stuff because you're a cool guy. And yeah, that's how today's going to go. Really appreciate you following along. Thank you very much.
The PCM's out of it right now. It's sent off to got tuned by Texas Rotary Experts, or T-Rex Performance, and we're getting their D585 coil kit. Getting a couple other things. You got an EXEDY Stage 1 clutch, coil throwout bearing for it, for when the motor goes back in. The parts haven't got here yet. They should be here Wednesday. Today's Monday. So all we're going to do today is basically get the engine out and get it prepped, or get the new engine prepped and ready for the new parts to go on it and for it to go in.
You were saying that we have some new equipment?
Yeah. So we've got a transmission jack, we've got a engine hoist, we've got a new oil catch can, and I think we've got a couple other things, but I can't remember all of them. But anyways, thank you guys, because without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So, you know, everyone who sends us a car, we put some of that money towards getting more equipment so that we can be more efficient and be better at what we do. And, you know, so we're not having to do things the ghetto half-ass way, so.
We have the airbox out, we have the battery tray out, disconnected the alternator, and had a little bit of an accident, but that's what happens when you're dealing with cars that are 15 years old. Why are we doing this anyway?
Because this engine has low compression. The car starts and runs fine whenever it's cold, and then whenever it's hot, you shut it off. It's even got the upgraded starter on it. You still got to wait like an hour for it to cool off so you can start it again. And her car's always had hot start problems. But she had the old, you know, slow starter from 2004 that was like, sounded like a starter from the 1980s. So I took the upgraded starter that I had on my parts car off my parts car and put it on her car, and then that fixed it for about another year or so probably.
Okay.
And now it's just too far gone.
First thing we're going to do is lift the car up in the air and we're going to drain the fluids. Woo! So if not, the whole car isn't going to run without this under tray.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to break.
Where's this from?
This is from JD Place Houston, where we get basically all of them from.
You mean it's the same place that we always get our engines from?
Yeah, I know, amazing.
What, 14, 15 engine swaps in the last 12 months?
Actually, this is number 17. He's off while the oil's draining and the cooler's draining and all that stuff. And then we'll go ahead and pull the cat off of it. After that, we'll pull the starter off, pull the transmission bolts off, take the slave cylinder off, and then the rest of it should be done while it's on the ground. Or close to it anyways.
Nice!
I chunked it. Out here in Texas, it's over 100 degrees. Drink water. not soda. We're gonna have to be careful with her exhaust bolts here.
They looking rusty?
What we can do is pull the exhaust back. Drop this in.
Oh, sleeves in the fuck.
Compressor so we don't have to disconnect the AC.
We're gonna go ahead and start disconnecting the transmission.
You see all the way up there, we got kind of the wiring harness over here for the O2 sensor in the way.
I'm a jackass and I just made it fall off.
It's all good because you got to come out anyway, so. There you go. Well, basically, whenever we pull these bolts out of the transmission, I leave this brace connected because the transmission is just going to sit on this brace. Now, the transmission is not very heavy. I can lift it up and down with my hands. So it's not going to really put any real stress on this brace while it's just sitting there. And then whenever we get the engine back in and stabbed, we can just lift it back up and mate it with the engine, and it'll be fine.
Motor mount bolts. Both of them are coming out.
Okay, so we're done under the car, so now I'm going to lower the car down.
So of course you have to take the wheels off so that you can access the motor mounts and the exhaust manifold.
Oh, I think I just broke your ratchet.
Pulling the ignition coils off. There's one down there, 10 millimeter. There's one here, and there's one here.
You can tell these haven't been off in a while either. I'm taking the rest of the bolts for the AC compressor out.
Alright, while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting these little bolts out. Don't forget about those two little 10 millimeters down there. A little hard to see. Okay, belts are off. This is ready to come out. Freaking alternator's disconnected. AC is disconnected. What else is disconnected?
I didn't lose the 10.
We're putting the jack under the engine to give it a little bit of support because the motor mounts are being extra difficult.
What we do now is I think we got one coolant hose still left up there connected. We got to get the rest of the motor mounts off. And we got to get one more ground up there off. And then it should be ready to come out.
We're going to release the tension that's on the motor mounts.
Can you tell what I'm good at?
Okay, so I'm going to drop the transmission jack and rest the engine on the frame.
We're going to go ahead and hook the chain up. That's how you do it. Yeah, it was 11:45 when we went to go get food though. Oh, what can you tell me about this EXEDY clutch? You said this was stage 1, right?
Yeah, it's a stage 1 heavy duty EXEDY clutch. Basically the only clutch I recommend other than factory, because it feels just like factory. It's going to run and drive just like factory. It'll just handle a little bit more power and more views. But I mean, the stock EXEDY clutch will handle 400 horsepower anyways.
This is resurfacing perfection.
It also creates little scuff marks in the portion of the flywheel where the clutch is actually going to grab. So it'll help the clutch kind of wear in and grab those spots a little bit better as well. Trashed.
Freaking skateboard wheel.
Where did you put the motherfucker? Right now we're just going to get it set in its general position. And then once we have it back up in the air, we use the transmission jack to do the rest.
It's a breeze.
So it's not bolted in yet. We just kind of have it resting on the frame. We're going to get it up and get my transmission jack under it and put the motor mounts in through the wheel wells, and then we'll lift the transmission up to meet it after we get the motor mounts in. This plate up here is going to provide a nice even surface for this motor to rest up against.
I got the top bolt and the motor mount to thread by hand.
By hand.
My fingers.
AC compressors bolted on. We are officially done under the car. We got the starter on, the catalytic converter on, all the bracing in. It's all ready to go.
Time for the upper intake manifold. Without the PCM, which is being tuned, and without the ignition coils, which are still in the mail, we're essentially done. It's been about a week, right? The parts are finally freaking here, and you bet that Darian and I are both a little bit upset about this, because not only does this put us behind schedule, it means that our customer, our friend, is gonna be calling us on the phone every day being like, hey, how's it going? How's my car? Because of how far flung off the schedule we ended up being, Darian is actually doing his day job right now, and I'm left to install the ignition coils and PCM. Ignition coil installation is freaking cake. Really, there's just 3 little 10mm bolts that you have to put on. I proceeded to install the airbox and the battery and the MAF. I completed the cooling system with the reservoir, finished up plugging in the hoses, etc., etc. But it wouldn't be Rice or Rescue if the ship didn't start fucking sinking at the last second. At this point, we're so far behind schedule because of the freaking mail that I wasn't even down there to film it, so just read it and use your imagination, okay? The car wouldn't ship. That's what you need to know. It's simple. It just would not ship.
after some trouble with the new master cylinder, I ended up being able to get the old master cylinder to work. But after pumping it a couple times, it's so stiff that the clutch pedal broke. And I'll show you what I mean. So this is the whole clutch pedal assembly right here. And then it broke right there. And we tried to weld it back together, but our welding is not all that great, so it broke again. But we're going to try and weld it a little bit better this time and straighten it all back out so that it works like it should. We painted it so that it won't rust again. We've got the clutch pedal drying right now. This car's been hell in a handbag for us. It's like, I mean, we fix something and then something else breaks. Then we fix that, and something else breaks. Then we fix that, and something else breaks. This is the last thing that broke, so really hoping nothing else breaks. Clutch pedal's back in. Shift's good, drive's good. This thing's ready to be shipped off. Looks like we got some happy customers. How you liking your engine?